A pleasant day, class! Welcome to Horticulture Module for Grade 10. This focuses on Quarter 3, Week 4 discussion. So let's get started.
For this week, we will going to discuss watering the crops using the prescribed method and procedure. This lesson will discuss how necessary is soil moisture content to plants and the different methods of watering or plant irrigation. Before anything else, what have you noticed to the illustrations? You're correct. Different ways of watering the plants or irrigation. Let us first define soil moisture content. The soil moisture content of soil is the quantity of water it contains. In soil science, hydrology, and agricultural sciences, water content has an important role for groundwater recharge, agriculture, and soil chemistry. If the moisture content of a soil is optimum for plant growth, plants can readily absorb soil water. These are the importance of soil moisture content. Number 1, soil water serves as a solvent and carrier of food nutrients for plant growth. Number 2, the yield of a crop is more often determined by the amount of water available rather than deficiency of other food nutrients. Third, soil water acts as a nutrient itself. Fourth, soil water regulates soil temperature. Another, soil forming processes and withering depend on water. Microorganisms require water for their metabolic activities. Soil water helps in chemical and biological activities of soil. It is a principal constituent of a growing plant. And last, water is essential for photosynthesis. Proper watering can mean the difference between perfect-looking plants and wilted or dying plants. Different watering methods use more or less and deliver water to different places on or around the plant. Always look up the water requirement for specific plants. Plants that are native to desert areas generally requires much less water than plants native to wet climates. Because many gardens have plants with different water requirements, you sometimes have to use more than one method of watering. The best time to water lawns and other plants is during the cooler parts of the morning, especially during warm summer. Watering in the morning gives the water a chance to soak into the soil before the sun's heat causes it to evaporate. Morning watering is preferable to nighttime watering because nighttime watering can cause fungal problems as plants sit in water overnight. When possible, water plant at their roots rather than spraying water over their foliage. Wet foliage can encourage fungal diseases. Hotter, inland areas are generally require more watering than coastal gardens. Now, what is irrigation? Irrigation is the process of watering crops, pasture, and plants using water, which is supplied through pipes, sprinklers, canals, sprays, pumps, and other man-made features rather than purely relying on rainfall. In other words, it is a method of an advanced watering system for helping plants to grow because it is applied as an alternative to rain-fed farming. Also, it is a technique to fulfilling plants or crop water requirements as they needed it as essential source for growth. At the same time, It aids in providing plants with the nutrients required for development and growth, as well as achieving high yields by enabling the penetration of the roots in the dry fields. Traditionally, water for irrigation can be sourced from dams, lakes, rivers, wells, ponds, reservoirs, canals, or tube wells, among various other sources. However, the time, amount of water required, rate, and frequency of watering are dependent on several factors. Some of them include the type of crop, types of soil, and the season. Let's proceed to the methods of watering or irrigation. First is the surface irrigation. It is the most common type of irrigation as it simply employs gravity to distribute water over a field by following the contour of the land. In surface irrigation, for example, water will flow downhill from an area of higher elevation, reaching all the crops. Next is the drip irrigation. Drip irrigation, also called trickle irrigation, delivers water directly to the soil. This method has advantages over watering methods that spray water over the entire plant. The best drip irrigation system have plastic pipes beneath the soil that carry water directly to plant roots without visible sprinklers or hoses. Less expensive system use perforated hoses that lay on top of the ground and slowly drip water into the soil. Drip irrigation uses less water than other types of irrigation because the water soaks into the soil before much of it has a chance to evaporate. It also reduces the chance of fungal diseases on plants' foliage because the irrigation does not wet the entire plant. Drip irrigation is especially beneficial for hilly landscapes because its low flow pressure will not cause runoff and erosion. Third is sprinkler irrigation. Sprinkler irrigation is convenient because it can cover large areas without requiring you to do any work. Sprinkler systems range from multiple sprinklers with automatic timers to a single sprinkler attached to a hose in a garden. Sprinklers do have some drawbacks, including a high rate of evaporation loss. Watering when wind is minimal reduces evaporation loss. Sprinklers spray water over plant foliage, and the moisture can contribute to fungal diseases and mildew problems. Next is subsurface irrigation. In this type of irrigation, the surface of the soil is not made wet. Instead, the water is fed directly to the ground through capillarity to reduce airborne drift and lessen runoff. This way, the water table is raised, making it easier for the crops to access the water they require. Fifth is flood irrigation, also known as inundation irrigation. It's a type of irrigation where flooded land conditions are intentionally created, thereby making the soil completely saturated. After this process, naturally occurring rainfall is sufficient for the maturity of the crops. This is very common in rice fields. Sixth is perennial irrigation. It is a system of irrigation that relies on a continuous supply of water. A canal distribution system is created, taking off water from a reservoir or weir to the crops. Irrigation schedule is one of the factors that influence the agronomic and economic viability of small farms. It is important for both water savings and improve crop yields. The irrigation water is applied to the cultivation according to the predetermined schedules based upon the monitoring of the soil water status and the crop water requirements. Irrigation scheduling is the decision of when and how much water to apply to a field. Its purpose is to maximize irrigation efficiencies by applying the exact amount of water needed to replenish the soil moisture to the desired level. Irrigation scheduling saves water and energy. The most common method used by farmers in irrigation scheduling is the plant observation method. In this method, it determines when the plants have to be irrigated and is based on observing changes in the plant's characteristics such as changes in color of the plants, curling of the leaves, and ultimately plant wilting. The changes can often only be detected by looking at the crop as a whole rather than at the individual plants. When the crop comes under water stress, the appearance change from vigorous growth to slow or even no growth. For your performance task, make a DIY irrigation in your home garden. You may refer on the video that I have created on how to make a DIY irrigation at the comforts of your home.
Good morning, class! So today, I'm going to show you how to make a do-it-yourself irrigation in the comforts of your home. So for today's performance task, I'm going to show you drip irrigation in our home garden. So let's start. These are the materials that we're going to use in our DIY drip irrigation. For the first step, for the next step, you have the screw, put it here on top, okay, so once na lumubog na yung screw natin dito sa takip ng bottle, so make sure na para siyang naiikot, nalulusan niyo yung screw. So, ilusan natin siya. Ayan. Okay. Okay, for the next step, so we have this wood. Ang ginawa ko sa wood, tinilusan ko yung dulo niya. Okay, bakit kailangan natin siyang tilusan or pointed yun para madali siyang lulubog din sa lupa. Okay? At ang kagandahan nito, pwede mo siyang ilipat from one plant to another. Okay, so let's start na the next step. So, ang gagawin lang natin is kakabit lang natin or i-attach lang natin itong wood, dalawang wood dito sa ating bottle. Parang nakaganito ang kanyang itsura. Parang ganito ang magiging itsura ng ating drip irrigation. So, gamit itong ating manipis na wire. So, if you don't have wire at home, anything na pwedeng makahold dun sa bottle and sa wood. Pag nilagyan nyo ng water yung bottle, ay hindi malulose yung bottle dun sa wood. Okay, so in this case, so naglagay ako dito ng hole. Yan, dalawa, side by side. dito rin, yan, kung saan natin ikakabit yung wood. So that, pag kinabit natin to, dito natin siya isusuot para hindi siya malalaglag pag nilagyan natin siya ng water. And then also, dito sa wood natin, naglagay din ako dito ng parang nail, small nail na parang stopper natin. Dito natin itatay yung ating wire. Okay? Para mas matibay siya. Okay? So, it's like this. Suot lang natin dun sa ating hole na ginawa sa bottle. So, dito natin siya ngayon iikot. Okay? So that matibay siya kahit lalagyan natin siya ng water. Kasi meron siyang support. Okay, so ito na yung nagawa natin doon sa ating pagtatay. So yan. Para maging stable siya is kailangan natin siya itay pa dito sa gitna nito. Right? So, magamit ulit tayo ng ating wire. So, itatay lang natin siya ng dito para maging stable siya. Okay? Alright, so ito na yung ating nagawang DIY drip irrigation. So, pag nilagyan natin siya ng water dito, so hindi siya lalaglag. Okay, so ito lang. Yung kanina nating pangalawang step, di ba naggawa tayo nito? So, ilalagay lang natin siya. Itatakip lang natin siya. Okay, and then, ilalagay natin siya dito sa ating plant. Okay, so dito ko ilalagay ang aking DIY drip irrigation. So once na nagfo-fall yung water here, bababa siya dito sa ating soil para matouch niya yung roots beneath the soil. And then eventually, pag marami ng water ang naandyan, mag-flow yung water dito, pwede niyang ma-reach itong another plant. Okay? So, na-hit natin yung dalawang plant sa isang DIY drip irrigation. So, ang purpose kasi ng DIY drip irrigation natin is, 2 days hindi tayo nakapagdilig. Hindi tayo mangangamba na matutuyo yung halaman natin kasi hindi natin siya nadiligan. Kasi, in this DIY drip irrigation, tuloy-tuloy yung kanyang water. Okay, so, i-stable na natin dito ang ating drip. Okay, class. So, ito na ngayon yung itsura ng ating DIY drip irrigation. So, ayan. Okay. And then, yung purpose nito, kaya ko hindi siya totally tinanggal is para pwede siyang makakover pa. Okay. So, lalagyan na natin siya ng tubig. Alright. So, napapansin nyo dito, class, ito yung tinatawag na drip. Okay, disregard nyo yung tumulong tubig sa paglalagay natin sa bottle, ha. So, ito mismo, yan, yung natulong yan yung tinatawag nating drip irrigation. So, ang mangyayari dyan, yan, papatak ng papatak yung water dyan sa soil. Siyempre, kapag basang-basa na yung soil, ma-absorb na ng roots yung water. So, imagine, kung sobrang busy natin at hindi natin nabisita yung halaman natin for a couple of days. So, still, makakuha pa rin siya ng water. Okay? Kahit may ginagawa tayo. So, tatagal siguro yung mga 2 days. Kaya kahit hindi tayo magdilig within 2 days, basta napuno natin itong ating bottle na to. Okay, so we're done with the first DIY irrigation, which is a drip irrigation. This time, I'm going to show you how to make a DIY subsurface irrigation. Okay, so these are the materials. We need at least 2 containers here. So preferably this kind of size. Okay, and then a shoelace. Or if you don't have shoelace, pwede kayong gumamit ng tela or 3 layers of yarn Yan, para makakagawa kayo ng kasing kapal ng shoelace. So, let's start! So, first thing to do is kailangan natin butasan ito. Bubutasan natin siya. Okay. So, isang butas lang siya. And then, we have to put the tie here. And then, itatali natin siya dito. Wag sobrang tight. Yung parang ganito siya kakapal. Yan, hindi masyado siyang mahigpit. Para hindi siya lalabas dun sa ating butas. Okay? So, yan. Ito siya. We're going to plant here. So, lalagyan natin siya ng soil. So, what have you noticed? Yung ating shoelace ay natakluban. Tama? Ng ating soil. And then, we're going to plant a basket plant. Ayan. Kinuha ko lang siya dun sa malaguna naming basket plant kasi magugat na siya. So, pwede na siyang And then, what we're going to do here, so yan na. So, nakita niyo itong lace na ito. So, dito, ito yung magsaserve as pipe. Okay, daanan ng water. Papunta dito sa ating halaman. Paano ang gagawin natin? Di ba meron tayo dito another container? So, ilalagay natin siya dyan. And then, ipapatong natin ito dito. So, as you can see, meron siyang space doon. Lalagyan natin siya ng tubig. So, So, ilalagay natin ngayon itong shoelace. So, isa lang, di ba yung butas natin kanina dun sa may shoelace dito sa ating pot na ito. Yung shoelace na yun yung magsaserve as pipe. I-absorb ng shoelace yung water dito papunta doon sa halaman natin dito. So, kahit hindi natin siya dinidiligan dito sa surface, nababasa yung kanyang lupa dito sa subsurface, dun sa pinakailalim, diretso. Mag-grow pa rin yung plants kasi from the water dito sa ilalim, sa bottom, nakukuha niya yung water through the lace papunta dito sa soil kasi nandun yung end ng lace. So, in that case, makagawa tayo ng DIY subsurface irrigation. Alright class, so sa ating ginawang DIY irrigation in our home garden, so ano yung value na makuha natin dito? So we have done recycling. Instead of throwing the plastic bottles and the disposable containers, ginawa natin silang very useful in our plants. So you see, we have here a DIY irrigation using recyclable materials. Therefore, we conserve water, start recycling, and love nature.
You are now ready to take the formative assessment. Identify what methods of irrigation or irrigation scheduling is being used in the following sentence. Write the answer on your paper. Number 1. I am the most common type of irrigation as it is simply employs gravity to distribute water over a field by following the contour of the land. Number 2. I am the method of irrigation where the surface of the soil is not made wet. Instead, the water is fed directly to the ground through capillarity to reduce airborne drift and lessen runoff. Number 3, I am a system of irrigation that relies on a continuous supply of water. A canal distribution system is created, taking off water from a reservoir or weir to the crops. Number 4, I am a system of irrigation range from multiple sprinklers with automatic timers to single sprinklers attached to a hose in the garden. Number 5, I am also a method which determines when the plants have to be irrigated and is based on observing changes in the plant's characteristics such as changes in color of the plants, curling of the leaves, and ultimately plant wilting. Let's check your work. For number 1, surface irrigation. Number 2, subsurface irrigation. Number 3, perennial irrigation. Number 4, sprinkler irrigation. And number 5, plant observation method. I hope you got it all correct.
Thank you for listening. Have a nice day! I hope you learned something from this video. For more videos and updates, don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. God bless everyone!